Welcome to Pingus. I'm Law, and this game brings back a lot of more painful memories back in the day. It was mostly due to the way it ran, and probably one of the quirkier parts of a Lemmings clone. The ability to use timed bombers was a thing back then, but now it's all instant, so it's not really the way it used to be, I don't think. But then again, it has been a while since I played it, so let's hop into the rather empty-ish story. I really like the idea of having it succeed, but it never really happened. There's nothing beyond what was given to us and a few extra level packs. Despite the difficulty, it was never really integrated into the campaign, really. It runs at a interesting 38 frames per second. Not something I've ever expected before. So yeah, the story is basically the ice of the Arctic, I guess, started melting because the Antarctic actually has landmass. No, it's the South Pole. Okay. I suppose melting occurs there as well. Yeah, we're pretty much gonna go through Tutorial Island first before we charge into any other stuff that's there to offer. One of the things I noted about the rather numerous level packs is that they're extremely difficult to get through. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, we couldn't just call them penguins, so we call them Pingus. And so yeah, here we go, learning to dig. This stuff's pretty straightforward. A nice thing to note is that the music and the graphics really haven't changed all that much since I first saw it a long time ago. I think it was like 2002? It's been a while. I mean, watching other Linux games evolve, or at least games that were primarily developed for it, it was kind of disappointing to see, you know, stuff like Frozen Bubble, which is like, what was it? I can't remember what it was called. It involved the Bubble Bobble series, and it was like just shoot the orbs to progress, and they transitioned to 3D graphics, and I was like, ugh. Then again, you could be disappointed with them, just like I suppose like some of the cereal box mascots. They just went from being 2D illustrations to 3D characters. Same thing happened with kids' TV, I suppose. And it got kind of disappointing and no one really liked it, I suppose. Then again, pandering to new generations is something that people do all the time, even though they don't really think it looks that nice, really. I don't have to save all these Pingus, but I can do that. There's no rate of control or anything, but there's still tools about. I think if there's really any resemblance between Lemmings, I'd say that the more closer area of comparison would probably be Lemmings to the Tribes, since they introduce a whole bunch of other techniques that you can use. So now this is the level in which we dig and then make people float, I suppose. I've tried numerous ways, but I could never really find a reliable way to do this quickly, which is what I kind of like. As you can see there's a bit of an issue with how Pingu selection is, and it's kind of been addressed in like Lemmings engines such as Lemini, where you can select a unit based on what direction it's facing, have a more precise count of how it works, but I suppose, you know, being a free project and all that, that really, it's kind of difficult to make any kind of headway. This thing doesn't pay. Go make it anyway. And it's kind of a hobby at that point. Something you work on in your spare time, but you never really do all that much, and hence why this stuff is always behind, like, the usual stuff. Thankfully there's a fast forward button. Another thing to note is that there's no time limit at all in this one. And we saved everyone again! It's more simple, but it does get a little bit complicated, especially in this branching path here, but overall it's not that difficult now that the whole thing's changed a little. I've never really noticed much, but these backgrounds really weren't that great. And I'm just messing up the bash. This thing is just a repeating texture. Then again, Lemmings didn't have one at all. Except, like, in the second game, of course. I need to take a look at more of how these clones are progressing, really. I mean, you have this, and you also have Super Tux, which I believe was a Super Mario clone. And I nearly messed myself up, but there's thankfully an abundance of bash tools that you can still use on all your Pingus. I'm not sure, is it Pingus or Pingus? I assume I'm talking about them in plural form, so that's it. We gradually start multitasking. No massive threats at the moment, but do need to keep an eye on them. Another thing you can do is move the camera around with the mouse keys, cursor keys. But yeah, you can also use right click to drag your way. But not the WASD keys, for some reason. I think that probably is something I can probably rebind, and I was too silly to notice. Oh well. In any case, the tasks presented here are still pretty simple. They have a kind of worms look to them, since like the graphics are slightly ahead. But I do like the way of the pixel art in general. I mean, you have this kind of gradient. And I've messed this up so badly. Whoops. Just gotta watch all the floaters. I suppose I could have paused to make this more, to give more effort, but I'm not bothered. And so it's just a matter of allowing one side to float, the other side to just walk through. It should be enough for it. All this half, at least. One spare. Oh well. Is there water down here too? No? But there's an igloo here for some reason. There's also an empty void here. Oh well. Well, most of them made it. And then we have a jumper, which I believe was in the Lemmings 2. At least to my knowledge anyway. It's just a matter of having them jump. Looks like you have to get it pretty close to the edge, otherwise you just end up falling off. Like that one did earlier. And otherwise it's pretty simple, so long as you can move your mouse quick enough to the next Pingu. I've saved nearly enough now. Well, at least, no, actually, I've saved way more than enough. But I'm not gonna let the others die. Maybe that one. Well, the whole thing's went to dust, so might as well use the bomb path while we're at it. There's more than one solution to this, it seems.